I'm going to share with you today something that happened over this last few days. So, over the last 3 days, I have felt this uneasy feeling. Some people would call it anxiety, but it wasn't anxiety. It's discernment. When something is disturbing your peace, there's usually a reason why. Although at first I didn't know what was going on. I have fasted this month, and I have been praying this month, and I have been really getting close to God. And of course, the devil comes in trying to attack. So, 3 days ago, God told me to anoint and bless my house and the land. So, I went through and anointed and blessed my house and my land with olive oil and saying prayer, asking God to bless it. Going through each window, each doorway, and each building on the property. And I also blessed the land. So that was my first step. And I had felt uneasy. I've been having really wild dreams, disturbing dreams that were disturbing my sleep. So I would have to pray over my dreams and my sleep for protection. And I've been praying prayers of protection. And today I woke up and I just had the most overwhelming feeling that something was not right. So I got up and I started praying, and I started praying for the angels of protection, and I just got in the Word with God. I just started talking to God and praising Him and worshiping Him, and I didn't know what was going on. I could feel it in the spirit, but I absolutely had no idea what was going on. Anyway, my ex-husband and my son-in-law left the house, and then my daughter left the house, and they all went to work. And at about 5 minutes after my daughter left the house, I felt God telling me to put on some worship music. I put on some worship music, went to go get a glass to do communion, and no sooner than I got the glass, I heard my dogs barking and going crazy. And I thought, well, maybe my ex-husband and my son-in-law came back. Well, I went outside and went around the corner, and my dogs had an intruder. And they had this intruder, and they had him freaking out. And I got out there, got him off the property. He left. And I'm not really sure what his intentions were, but he was not invited, and he didn't tell me his intentions, and I didn't ask. I just know that he was not supposed to be there, and he didn't even get close to the house. My dogs had him surrounded. Anyway, he left the property, and the uneasy feeling went away. I don't believe the man will be back. I think it scared him pretty bad. But the uneasy feeling that I had, that discernment that I had, was for that reason. God was telling me that something was off 3 days before it even happened. That's how powerful discernment is. That intuition that you get in the spirit, you need to listen to. If something is off and you're feeling that anxiety feeling, chances are it's not anxiety. Chances are something is wrong. It's God's way of warning you that something is wrong. Had my dogs not been there, who knows what would have happened. Thank God He gave me my dogs, and He had my dogs protect me. But you never know. You never know. And I had been discerning this for 3 days before it happened, 3 days prior. That's God telling you something's not right. Something is just not right. And after the fact, about an hour after the fact, I started feeling the peace of God again. And I was praising Him and worshiping Him after the fact and thanking Him after the fact and giving Him credit, because it was credit to God, because He was warning me in the Spirit. So the next time you get a feeling that something is off, always pay attention to it, because that is your spiritual, that is God telling you that something is not right. Sometimes it could be a matter of something else, it could be anything that would happen. God gives you those warnings for a reason. And most of the time, people say, oh, it's anxiety, I got so much anxiety. Well, it's not usually anxiety. Now, there are times where, like before I got healed, anxiety was a very big part of my life. I lived in it because I was unhealed and I was always in flight or fight mode, right? So I was always feeling like something was off, or something was going to go wrong. But once I started walking with God and I started healing, I started walking in peace, which is why it's so important to heal, which is why it's so very important to heal. And if you're in a situation where you feel that way all the time, change your situation and do the healing that you need to heal. Because once you do that and you start walking with God and you start feeling peace all the time, when something's off and you start getting that anxiety feeling, you will know without a doubt that it's not anxiety. It's the fact that something is off, something is not right, something, you need to be aware of something. So you need to pay attention to your surroundings, you need to pay attention to the people around you, you need to pay attention, because that feeling you're getting, it's not anxiety. And I know a lot of people put off that feeling and just chalk it up to anxiety, and we avoid our intuition, the discernment that God gives us. And it's a natural thing. We all have the ability to discern. To what point is completely depends on whether or not you're reading your Bible, because the more you read your Bible, the stronger your discernment gets. The closer you get to God, the stronger that discernment gets. And you can call it intuition if you want to. It is an intuition, but it's a discernment from God. It's a gift from God. And we tend to get caught up in life and we ignore that discernment. And every time in my life I have ignored that discernment, it has got me in a bad situation. It got me caught up in a situation I should have never walked in to had I listened to that discernment. And if you feel like your discernment's not strong, then I suggest you get close to God. I suggest you read your Bible. Even if it's 20 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, it's better than nothing. And if you don't like to read, you can turn on your YouTube and read the Bible or listen to the Bible. They have Bible apps on your phones. They have, if you go to your Play Store, that are free. And there's really no excuse for not reading your Bible, or at least listening to it. And it is the biggest tool that we have to get closer to God. It is the best tool that you have to sharpen your discernment. Anyway, I hope this story helps you to realize that you need your discernment and to sharpen it and to pay attention to it, and share this with someone else who needs to hear it. And you have a very blessed day, and listen to your discernment.